Okay. Recording in progress. Oh my God. Fabrizio is here. I'm gonna let Fabrizio in, and then I'll let everybody else in. We'll see about the behind the scenes here. Fabrizio. Here he comes.
I'm not sure why the screen is cycling.
Yay! Look at that face.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Hi, everyone. I see that there is an audience.
I know there's an audience, and those are only a few of our wonderful family here. How are you?
Nice meeting you all.
Yes. This is the master man.
Yes, today you see me in my studio, but in a more relaxed. I'm not at my desk with the keyboard because I'm like preparing a couple of lecture, and I'm preparing because Saturday will be at Comic-Con with Andreas Deja's Mushka. So I'm preparing what I'm gonna say in the panel there.
Right.
Okay.
Oh my gosh. Now, say your name to everybody so I can.
Nice to meet you all. I am Fabrizio Mancinelli, which is a kind of sounds like a food dish from Italian cuisine.
Oh, it's more than a food dish. Fabrizio. Fabrizio?
Yes,
Oh,
Fabrizio. But here, sometimes they call me Fab, which I don't dislike. I even call my company Fab Music Incorporated.
oh, I like that.
Yeah.
Look what I'm wearing for you today.
Yes, a music shirt. A music shirt with notes, a piano. I like it. I like it.
I like it. Well, listen, we're gonna just jump on in. I'm gonna let everybody else in, and then we will do even more of an introduction.
Perfect, perfect. I will follow through whatever you ask and whatever you want.
Oh, I love it. Thank you, thank you. Here we go. Whee!
You'll have to stay with your father until I get better.
Don't ever cross the fence. It's very dangerous out there.
Hello. I'm sorry, Mushka, but you have to leave now. Go away, Mushka! Get out of here now! No!
Come on, let's get our tiger.
We have the master himself here today. I am going to spotlight. Oh, okay. Oh my God, it looks like I'm like a little insane, but we know I am just a little.
You are.
You
are.
Thank you.
I think we all need to be a little insane in life.
I know. Well, and this man is so wonderfully insane in a good way that he has created magic. I was blessed to be able to work with him in a film with a mutual friend of ours, Andreas Wesselthorn, which you all met Andreas, I think about a year ago. Um, and the film was Heavenly Peace. And that is just a piece of what this brilliant composer conductor does. And we will get into it. I'm going to just bring him on. Here he is, Fabrizio Mancinelli. Ta-da!
Oh, ciao.
It sounds like you're from, like you're coming from Italy.
Yes, my accent gives it away.
Does it? Oh my God.
Also my name, of course. Yes, I
I
am
tell you,
Italian. I moved here like in first time I went to university here on a Fulbright grant in Los Angeles, and then I moved back here in 2011, and I've been living here since.
2011.
So, and I'm American as well.
Right, right. Now you were born where?
Northern Italy, lived in center Italy, and my parents now live again in northern Italy. So
Right,
I here and there.
here and there. Well, I have to say,
Got
what?
Grandparents from southern Italy. So I'm fully Italian.
You know, I listen to your voice and I want to like have a big Italian meal right on a veranda looking over the water. Oh my God.
Me too, a good Italian meal.
Oh,
Well, last night I had one, but in Italy I would like to have it. But
yes.
it
Yeah.
will happen. It will happen.
So where does music come from you? Where did it just begin? Did it just percolate? Did you say, oh, I love music, or how did it happen?
My uncle and my aunt, well, when I was a kid, actually, every summer there was like this like marionette and puppet theater in the main piazza of my city, and it was the treat of the end of the summer before going back to school to see the puppets with music and show. And I like that because there was a lot of music and songs.
Right.
Then growing up in Italy, it's easy that you see like music even in the streets, etc. And then when I was 11, my uncle and my aunt took me to this operatic music festival in the summer, and I listened to the Marriage of Figaro, Le Nozze di Figaro by Mozart. And I decided I wanted to study music, and I asked my parents, who told me you're crazy. But another relative of ours came into the picture, and they took me to my first like singing class of children choir, and I started studying music then, and it was October of 1991, I think. And then I started studying, and then after that, I wanted to professionally pursue it. My parents said no again, but I went to music conservatory when I was 16, and then graduated composition conducting. My parents made me graduate in law and become a lawyer, and then I won a Fulbright grant, and I came to America to pursue the career and further studies. So it comes all from a wish to tell something. I also had a deep love for animation. I cannot draw a single line. So what happened is like music and animation is another important thing. I said, okay, I'm going to do that. Yeah. And it's all together. So I've been very blessed in life knowing what I wanted to do.
Well, it's nice too that, you know, for your parents, you did the lawyer thing, but you still ultimately did what you wanted in your heart.
Yes, and then I married a lawyer, so I did what they wanted.
I love that. I love that. So, you know, I was reading your IMDb, and I mean, I was catching up, and you have like 2 huge films that are out this year. Haunted Mansion, you're conducting?
Yes, and The Color Purple, I'm conducting as well.
Yes!
My friend Chris Bowers. Yeah, Haunted Mansion is coming out next week.
Yeah.
And then Color Purple like Christmas time. Right. And my friend Chris Bowers is the composer on those 2 movies. He's a brilliant composer. And more than that, he's a wonderful human being and friend. The real, I call him my retirement friend, which means we'll still call each other when we don't need each other and we want to grab a coffee. Because like you get a lot of phone calls when you're working. Yeah, we want to talk to you. We want to see you when you're working. And it's all, what you working on? Do you need help? That's the first question you get. I like my friends who text me when we're not working together with the, how are you today? That's the most important thing. I talk to my friends in Italy. We have group chats, even if I don't see them. Like we did the school dinner, school reunion dinner, they did it. And I was on Zoom from here. I'm still part of their lives, and they don't do my job. They don't need me. We don't need each other. We are retirement friends. So Chris Bowers is also another retirement friend. When we work together, I'm so happy. When we don't work together, I still love him.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he's brilliant. One of the composers, I think, the genius composer. So I'm very honored to conduct for him.
Well, you know what I've come to find out, that the people that the people that are real, the people who they come from the love of what they're doing and they don't get their nose in the air, that's what makes it all the best. If it's not coming out. I have this massive thought that's sort of stuck behind my head, but it's about being true to one another and being that, not going after that thing of, oh yes, do you have a job for me? It's like I met a friend the other day and we just had coffee and we talked about different stuff, and like you said, it's friendship.
Especially because jobs will come out with people whenever you least expect it.
Mm.
I have a lot of friends in the industry that I don't work with, and one day we will, or like it will happen. We're figuring out with you, David, to work together on something, and the timing has always been like not perfect,
Yeah.
because like I've been very blessed to be overwhelmed for some time with projects, my projects, conducting projects, like even teaching stuff.
Right.
That's tough sometimes to find, especially because I have a daughter and I want also to be a good father and a good husband to my wife, which means prioritizing things, balancing time, balancing life, work life, and real life. Sometimes I work at night even because I want to have dinner with my family and I want my daughter to be put to sleep with a story. And I'm luckier than many people because I have my studio in the backyard.
Yeah.
So I can go back and forth, from the house to the studio, and I can work at night. But what is important is like I'm very lucky to have experienced both a European approach to life and an American approach to life, because they're both valuable in many points, and I can like blend them together and try to get what's great from each of the cultures and each from the lifestyles and make it part of my life.
What?
That's the
Oh yeah. Well, for those who haven't been to Europe or don't know the differences, if you could say, like in one line, what's the European style and what is the American style?
In Europe, you work to live. In America, you live to work.
Uh-huh.
That's the joke I always make, because here it's always like boom, 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 which is great, but also it leads to some like problems, like when there is a pandemic, people maybe were laid off, they didn't work. I saw a lot of colleagues losing what they had, and there was no help. I was driving yesterday and I saw a lot of homelessness, which in periods of times, like of financial hardships, a lot of people end up having to be in the street. Mm. Yes, Europe is changing as well, but I haven't seen it to the level I've seen it here. Like homelessness is not one of the major social problems. I remember a long talk I had with some great artists here. Like it's a social problem. Most of the problems are social problems. The attention to human being, the attention to the soul of the human beings, the importance of a human being when the human being is not producing anymore what it used to. Like I've seen a friend of mine who recently passed away. He was in his mid-70s, brilliant special effects guy, brilliant, a guy who had like built like some of the most incredible creatures. He had worked for Disney, worked for many other companies, and full of friends while he was working. And then in his retirement, I spoke to him every day because he was lonely.
Yeah.
I saw him and I enjoyed his company. It's like it was family, it had become family to me. That is something that I don't see. I talk to my parents, despite the fact they're in Italy, I talk to them every morning.
Yeah. Wow.
More than my wife talks to her parents, here, who live close to us. My in-laws made fun of us, and it's like a cultural approach. And I'm not criticizing. I'm just talking about my experience. Like my in-laws make fun because they say that I call them more than their daughters do. But I feel sometimes, it's important it takes 1 minute once to just say, how are you? I just wanted to know, how are you?
Well, I think that comes into your work too, because it's the human connection that connects to music.
Yeah, I mean, I've been so lucky. I come from a village in the mountains of Italy, beautiful medieval city that has been destroyed by an earthquake. Beautiful, beautiful. But like the luck that I had, I mean, when I stop and think, I must have done something to be able to come here, and not go back right away.
Yeah. Yeah.
I must have done something, let's say, right, because even though I don't want to do a judgment on what I do in life, on who I am in life, I behave like I am because I am like this. There's no other way. There's no study behind, I need to do this because I need to get this.
Yeah.
Like very, very like natural.
Right.
And this is what I think I am, in many ways. I behave in my music. It's difficult for me to give an analysis of what I do, even musically, but I always feel like it's part of my technique, what I do, but it's also part of what I am. I try to be, if I have to describe in one word what I write, I would say and it's not a value kind of or judgment, but it's like sincere. My music is for sure one thing, sincere.
What are you most proud of something that you have created?
Well, I wrote an opera when I was 24 that I still love. And I'm very proud of the work I did on Mushka by Andreas Deja, because Andreas was my idol and he's my idol. And we worked together for a long time on this project. And I got to work together with Richard Sherman, the composer of Mary Poppins.
Yes.
So that is something like unique.
How did that come about? How did you?
Well, I met Andreas in August 2008. And at a Disney event. And then Leonor Maltin took me, whom I had met at USC, the famous film critic, took me to one of Andreas's Christmas party. And then we bonded and we became friends. And he has been like a big brother to me here. I mean, sharing both of us an experience of being two Europeans in America. And at Andreas is how I met Andreas Westerhorn as well. We relate through our European, how do you call it, heritage, having moved to America. They can understand the struggle of a person trying to figure out to be part of our world, part of this world, and because like right now, for instance, there is like this limbo in which I've never been perceived as fully American. When I went to USC, they always like call me fettuccine Italia, and then though like I'm not part of any diversity group, because of course I'm like what I am. Yeah. So I'm in this limbo in which I'm like navigating navigating and trying to figure out my identity, my belonging. And I thought, though, one thing that we all have, each one of us, each human being, it's not only about diversity, but it's about our uniqueness. Every one of us has a personal story. Wherever you come from, whoever you are, you have a personal story. And if you respect every other human being and love every other human being like you love yourself, you will be able to grab from everybody their beauty and build a better world. I mean, I'm not very Pollyanna. I don't think like oh, everybody's great, everybody's awesome, etc. But I also think, and I always tend in my life to find good in everybody and to find something special. I think we all have a story. I have my story. I come from this beautiful medieval city in the mountains of Italy. The puppets I told you before, but even the shepherds on the mountains. I grew up in front of my apartment building. There was a farm when I was growing up. I remember drinking the warm eggs in the morning that the farmer was a friend brought to us. That is an experience. We never stop. If each and every one of us stop to think, what is my story? Because we cannot change. There's nothing we can change about us. One thing we can change. If we're not nice people, we can change and become better people. But that's another story. It's about our attitude in life. But about like what we are as artists or like as human beings, what defines us is our background, and embracing it and it's like putting the best suit or the best dress. That enhancing our positives will give everyone a sight of what our uniqueness is. And every one of us has more than many diversities. We have all our uniqueness that we need to underline and invest on.
I'm listening to you and I was thinking, oh, I could just see you coming out with a book sometime. And then it shifted in my head. You have so many books already, but with notes of music.
Yes, no. And I'm so lazy that if I start writing a book, I would have to dictate it, because after 5 minutes, I would even when I prepare keynotes and PowerPoints, I'm like, I get bored after 2 hours, like getting together information. And I wish there was a way, because I read a lot.
Yeah.
But when I write music only. And I used to write when I was a kid more, but I call myself the laziest writer ever now. Like when I have to write a story, etc.
But writing music is
writing music is it's different for me. It's different.
Yeah. Now,
it's
what about writing music versus composing? I mean, not everybody does that, right?
Yeah, no, composing for me is writing music, but because I was classically trained. Conducting, you mean?
Conducting, I meant conducting.
No, conducting, you take a piece of music. I conduct my own, I conduct other people's music. I study it. I even study my music, because for me, writing music is a very natural thing. So sometimes I need to understand why I made a decision. Like sometimes after some time, I'm like, why did I write this? So to go to the bottom of that, I have to study my piece of music that I'm going to conduct. But when you conduct, you need to be in the shoes of another composer and understand what their choice has been in the piece, and understanding their choice, you will figure out the path. It's like an interpretation as an actor, Both the composer and a conductor are actors, but a composer is an actor like relating to a film, etc. A conductor is an actor interpreting a piece of work, something that has been written, and you read it, you study it, you make it your own, and you conduct, but with respect to the idea, to the original idea of the other composer, of the colleague.
Right. That's fascinating how you said that, how it's sort of like an actor, but it's
Yeah.
stepping into the other person's shoes. I do want to get to we actually had Jeffrey Sherman on.
Oh, okay.
What a joy.
Yeah, no, his dad and his uncle were like Richard was his uncle, is an amazing human. I never met Jeffrey's dad
Mhm.
because he was living in London at the time I moved to America. But they created, I mean, even their grandfather, Al Sherman, the grandfather of Jeffrey was like Tim Panelli, songwriter. So they created such a legacy and poetry as well, because like the lyrics of many Sherman's brothers song make new words, they create the language.
Mm.
It's fun. It's fun. I enjoyed working with Richard because like even though now he's 95, he's still very sharp. And his melodies are like timeless. You hear it once and it's there.
Yeah.
Something that I haven't managed yet to do.
Well, any second here, you're going to have, well, you already have a body of work that I was like looking at and going, oh, and but I see.
I've been lucky in many ways. Yes, hard work
Yeah.
gives you luck because I studied a lot and I work hard.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you need to have somebody ready to listen to you. There is so much talent in this city, and that's the thing, so much talent everywhere that you need to be respectful and not feel, oh, I'm better than everyone else, I'm better than this, I'm better than that. No, you need to be just grateful that somebody is listening, that somebody is lending you a hand, is that somebody is opening the door.
Yeah.
And then at some point when you're able to do it in life, help other people. When I can't do something, I usually have younger colleagues or colleagues of mine that I like to recommend, for instance, because greed, like saying, yeah, I can do it and enslave other people, would never work for me.
Yeah.
Like having ghost writers, I never had them and I don't want them. Yeah. Because an artist is an artist.
Mm. Mm. We have one of our, of course, Performing Arts Studio West. We have singing, we have acting, we have dancing, and we have a couple of music teachers here, and one is a composer, and I know that he's here today at the studio, Alexander Tovar, and I told him, hey, since you're a composer, and I wanted to connect the two of you, and I think he's right there. Do I have you there, Alexander? Do I have you on the right one? Which one do I have?
We see a lot of people.
I know. Everybody wave. I love it. Let's see.
So many people. And the only thing that sucks online is that I cannot see your faces, your eyes.
Oh.
That for me is like the things that fuels creativity more than anything else. It's the thing that makes me happy than anything else. When I have writer's block, I get out of the house and I look at human beings, at people interacting, at families, etc. And that gives me like the fuel to create something, because it's all about vibrations.
Right. Wow, vibrations. I love that. Mr. Tovar.
Hi, Mr. Zimmerman. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Hi, Fabrizio. So nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. So you're a composer as well.
Yes, my name's Alexander, and I'm staff here, and we listened to your music just in the last hour. But yes, I'm a composer, and I went to USC too. I graduated, I think, the same year, 2009.
Right on.
Yeah, right on. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You were in the Thornton Music School?
No, I was in the Thornton. I was in composition. I wasn't in the film scoring program. I was just.
Who did you study with?
Stephen Hartke, and Frank Kelly and
Okay.
Donald Crockett conducted one of my works, and yeah. So I don't know. That's just But we've really enjoyed listening to your music, and some of the clients here have some questions. We spent last hour looking at all your works and stuff like that, and are just so impressed. And it's such an honor to meet you.
There are a couple of scores that I've done that are not yet out that I'm very proud about.
Yeah, I mean, Haunted Mansion is coming out, and we noticed that you're conducting
but that I just conducted. That I just conducted, and all the praise goes to Chris Bowers because and his team, because I mean, I hope that people will rave about his score. It's beautifully. It's like a modern John Williams,
Oh,
Oh, wow.
kind of good writing. When I went there to conduct, I was like, this is difficult, but not for the sake of being difficult.
Yeah.
This is great music. He's a great composer. I have a score of mine that's coming out that I wrote. It's for an animated feature. It's coming out in next January, most likely, unfortunately. And I recorded 1 year ago. So just think
Oh, wow.
on some international production what happens. But I recorded 80 pieces of music, 80 minutes of music, 75-piece orchestra in Budapest on one, and it's on an animated movie called Out of the Nest. So hopefully in January will come out. But a work I'm very, very close to, it's very close to my heart, is my musical The Land of Dreams, which is on Spotify.
Yes, we listened to that last in our last class at 10 a.m. and we all loved it. We listened to it on Spotify.
I put a lot of love in that. It's a European musical. It's Italian production. So we have both Italian and English actors. And I wrote 100 minutes of music for that and we recorded during COVID. So I was here, we're recording the orchestra in sections in Budapest, big band in Rome, singers in Rome, and I was all on Zoom calls and online, and that was a pain in the neck, but we managed to do it.
Yeah.
Oh, I know. We really enjoyed listening to it. Now, do you write, when you write your scores, do you write by hand anymore, or is it mostly just?
I did on Mushka, this animated featurette by Andreas Deja. I wrote all the themes by hand and harmonies. I did some rough sketch, and then I played in the computer. Usually it's like I play straight in the sequencer.
Yeah.
Just because, you need to be fast. So
yeah, right. And do you have assistants making stems for you?
Yes,
or do you?
I have,
yeah.
I have
Sometimes.
a MIDI programmer who mixes my demos as well, who is one of my longest time friends in Italy. And it's fortunately technology. One thing that's good about technology, it's shortens the distance. So we have software, I send my file, he sends back the files, mix the following morning. So I finish to work at night. And it's morning in Italy. I wake up in the morning and I have my stamps and my stuff.
Wow. Oh, that's great. That's a great system.
Yes. And if for instance, I have to integrate some programming, making it better, because I prefer to spend more time in writing than just programming on the computer. So I still write by hand when I have to do some voicing in the strings and I want to see it. Because you're a classically trained composer. There are things that you want to see because I know how they're gonna sound, especially because in the computer, not having a room with the harmonics and all the sounds forming together, the computer you need to EQ and change it. But on the paper, I know what works because I've studied it.
Yes. Right.
So that's the thing.
Oh, cool.
I love it. I'm taking all this in between the two of you and learning stuff I didn't know about.
Yeah, writing by hand. I said in the stage of Mushka, I said, for me, it's like from the heart to the arm to the piece of paper. So it's straight. And then I can put it in the computer and then we can record the orchestra. I have orchestrators now that I trust. I have mixing engineer. I mean, I have my team of people because
that's great.
I also know that if I play for instance, for my MIDI programmer, main collaborator, more than assistant, Luca, who's been my friend, If something sucks, he will tell me, Fabrizio, it sucks. You can do it better. You know, I know he knows my music, he knows me, and he
Oh,
challenges me, or a director challenges me, which would be
uh-huh.
more painful. You know, I trust a person, you know, like my friend who tells me that he knows that I can do better. Then
Mm,
sometimes I'm convinced that that's the best thing, and usually because I know and I see something more in what I'm doing, but it's very rare, you know. It
mhm.
happened last year on theme for a TV show in Italy, that he said, oh, I think this second part is cheesy. I said, no, I think it's right. And then we work a little bit on that, and he said, yeah, you were right, it's right, you know, it works, it's
Oh,
like catchy, it's like, but it's, you know, some other times it's like, oh, I don't like what you're doing. I'm like, yeah, you're right, and I rewrite this, and then he tells me, oh, you blew my mind. So
yeah.
that's the first feedback I get.
Okay. Wow.
What I love about your work too, it has so many levels to it. One of my favorite composers was John Barry. And, you know, one of my favorite actually scores was from Body Heat. Uh,
Uh-huh.
and I mean, it's sensual, it's erotic, it's scary, and that's what I feel that you have in yours. You have so many different levels.
Because as I said before, we need to be good actors, and not just character actor that is like, oh yeah, that's the character actor who's a comedian who's doing like his bits here. No, you need to be a good actor. Like Robert De Niro can act in a drama, in a comedy, and he's like Robert De Niro still, but he has nuances. Music, you know, I was talking with the representatives of a colleague, of a young colleague of mine from Italy, who was a pianist, who was writing very minimalistic music, and like kind of washed up Ludovico Einaudi. And they were like, yeah, I don't know. He writes music for a film that has not been done. I'm like, yes, but here we have a chase, a tense chase. What is he going to write? Oh, that's true. And here we have a romance. Yes, maybe the romance is good, but here we have a fight. What is he going to do? So like music for film, you need to be flexible. You need to be a little bit like, no, you know, it's like the evolution of the opera. You know, like Wagner as the full, complete show,
Right.
you know, opera d'arte completa, work of art, complete work of art. You
Right.
have a full range of emotion. You have a full range of like from sadness to desperation to happy moments. And you can do that with the music. You can trigger, you can push buttons in the human soul.
Mm.
And that's the thing. Like, I'm not a jack of all trade, master of none, but I try also to do multiple things. This is why I dislike the fact that here, for instance, they try to pigeonhole you. You do an animated film, you can only do animated films. You do a thriller, you can only do thrillers. Of course, there are things I do better, and I know which are they, but I also try to be proficient and have a way of narrating, you know, in a different way, and which goes back to the actor concept.
Mhm. Right.
Alexander, you said you had a few students who wanted to.
Yeah, there's about two or three. So I'll bring them up. So Matthew Payne has something. Matthew Payne's one of you want to come on up? He's one of our finest actors, singers, dancers. He's a jack of all trades. So he wants to ask you a question because we were listening to you in our other class. So what's your name? Amber.
Yes. I
Hello.
wanted to ask, who's your favorite film composer?
Well, I'm gonna mention three because one, it's difficult to choose. I'm gonna mention Ennio Morricone for sure.
We talked about it.
Then I'm gonna mention for songwriting Alan Menken, and then Alexander Desplat. Those are three that I cannot renounce to. And I'm not excluding John Williams, but I feel also that John Williams, everybody and their sister mentions John Williams all the time. And here, like what I is a genius, one of the geniuses of our time, but like there is so much more. What is a genius is like that he has an amazing sense of art, is one of the greatest composers in American history, but like there is so much out there. And I also think that Jerry Goldsmith sometimes is an unsung hero,
Yeah, I really like Jerry Goldsmith.
and he was like as great as John Williams, with the unlucky event that he passed away too early, you know, to see him like conducting way in his 90s, you know, or things like that. He was such a refined composer, Jerry Goldsmith.
He really was. I used to collect soundtrack albums, like albums, and I still have them. I couldn't get rid of them. I have like 200.
It was unique. It was unique. I mean, there are so many. You see, when I speak, I Nino Rota. You know, there are way too many. It's like when I was a kid, I knew my favorite color was green. But then when you grow up, you see that the rainbow that has so many colors and life has so many colors that you don't want to renounce to them. So if I continue speaking, I will have 20,000 favorite composers, one for each of the colors that have given me.
I love that.
I think that like Chris, my friend Chris Bowers, I think I admire and I look up to him so much. And he's like 10 years younger than me, dude, you know, like, but I have so much to learn from him.
Yeah, learning from each other.
Yeah, you know, it's like I like Rachel Portman, you know, like what such a classy composer, undoubtedly such an amazing classic composer. There are here and there, you know, like if I go out of film scoring, Samuel Barber, you know, like who another unsung hero of American music, because everybody mentions, oh yes, Aaron Copland. Oh yes, Leonard Bernstein, but nobody mentions Samuel Barber, whose music is so much more refined than Copland, than 3 times Copland and Bernstein together. I'm sorry, I might be unpopular, but I feel that sometimes we choose one icon, and one icon is forever, you know, like when the famous judge RBG died, he felt it had died the only human being who could. We need to choose more than one. This is what I say in life. We need to choose more examples so that we are not lost when we lose one of them, but we are grateful because we had he, her, she, you know, but at the same time, we have so many to choose from. And it's just a message of happiness. I love John Williams, but I like more the John Williams of Catch Me If You Can, for instance. The jazzy John Williams is a genius. Nobody can do that. Schindler's List is so deep. Star Wars is great. Maybe the fact I'm not a huge fan of the movies, and I'm like cursing now, it's like they were not my favorite. I like the other property, the intellectual property, Indiana Jones more, for instance.
You know, one of my favorite John Williams is The Fury.
Oh, well, you know, it's like even Lincoln is a great score that nobody appreciates, so deep.
Yeah.
Like I like the things usually that are not so mainstream, and not because I'm against mainstream. I like mainstream in general, but also there are so many nuances. One of my favorite scores of all history is To Kill a Mockingbird by Elmer Bernstein. He does an harmonic progression, yeah, da 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 da, yeah, da 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 da, and it's so deep. I get goosebumps every time I listen to that, like the first time. And that's unbelievable. Where music can touch you in unexpected ways. And some authors, like The Leopard, by the movie by Luchino Visconti with the score by Nino Rota, it's a beautiful classic symphony. I mean, there is something in everything. I hope I was clear, you know, that
Yeah.
The more I go, the more I'm gonna go for. You're gonna see 40,000 composers. John Powell, genius of our time.
Thank you.
Yeah, well, it's hard to choose just one. Even though I love John Williams, I wouldn't put him at the top of my list just because everybody else would say John Williams. And I
I
usually
love
put Jerry
him.
Goldsmith or somebody else, that doesn't get as much attention.
Yeah, he's a genius. I love him, but I think that I studied with a composer I highly admire. His name was Luis Bacalov, the composer of Il Postino. I've seen him work. I've seen him work on his music. It was so special. So
Yeah.
I have a favorite composer every 5 minutes. A new favorite composer.
Well, what I loved, what you do too, is you were actually involved with the Disability Film Challenge. I saw you were involved with Whitney's Wedding.
Yes, the new normal was the song. I co-arranged the song for my friend Melissa Axel and James Jacoby. They did this song and they asked me if I wanted to come on board, and it was fun. I went, I played the piano. We were figuring out how to arrange the song, which it was really fun. It was really fun. I had a lot of fun, and it's an amazing also how do you say initiative, to enhance different kind of creativities. As I said before, we all have something more, each one of us in many ways. So it's more like, I think that the disability challenge is more an ability challenge in which everybody of us can show their uniqueness.
Oh, I love that. I love that. Thank you, Matthew.
Grazie. Nice meeting you.
Now we have, I think, one or two more, huh?
So we had two more. We have Ryan and we have Amber. So Amber, why don't you come up and then you can take questions on Zoom if you want.
I love this. Thank you again.
No, my pleasure. I hope I'm clear and I'm just positive, even when I face more difficult matters, that with a smile on my face. So.
No, we're all learning.
Hi, nice meeting you, Amber.
Hey,
Hey, Amber.
doing good. What is your favorite movie all time?
My favorite movie of all time is Mary Poppins. That I can answer on the tip of my.
That's cool.
Yeah, because it reminds me of the first time I watched it with my family. It's a positive movie, and sometimes we need to dream, and all of us, we need our Mary Poppins in our life, I think.
That's cool.
It's I remember Mary Poppins was not the first movie I ever saw. It was Peter Pan was the first.
Yeah, I have the CD of that.
Of Mary Poppins?
Yeah.
I love it.
Cool. Oh, cool. I saw Mary Poppins in the theater. That was the first and last time I sat in the front row, because I was sitting in the front row. I was so close. I felt like I was looking up her dress, but it was I tell you that I actually wanted to be Mary Poppins at one point in my life, but it didn't work out.
Yeah, well, I didn't want to be Mary Poppins, but I'm still in love with Julie Andrews, and she's amazing. One of my all-time favorite.
Did you ever work with her or?
Oh, I never. She is one of the people that I would love to meet, but I also understand that she has a more reclusive. Like, I met Dick Van Dyke, and I even sang with Dick Van Dyke and Richard Sherman on the Disney Legend. There is a video somewhere on D23 of the three of us hugging, and that's one of the two times I've seen Dick Van Dyke in my life. So it's not a friend, but
Yeah.
I must have thought, who is this guy putting his hand around my like body and singing with me, most likely. But I was so excited that I let it go and I sang with them, Let's Go Fly a Kite.
Oh my God, I would love to hear that. You do have that somewhere?
It's on some D23 thing. Yeah, I think it's all over the internet.
I love that. Thank you, Amber.
Grazie. Thank you very much.
See you.
Thank you.
All right, we have one more. We have Ryan Jameson, and then we can wrap it up.
Hi, nice meeting you.
Hello, I'm Ryan. How you doing?
Fine, thanks. How are you?
Good, good.
I hope you're having fun and I'm not boring.
Oh, no.
Ask everything.
Oh, good. I have a question for you. What is the best film score for your when you do movies?
I like The Mission by Ennio Morricone a lot because it's both melodic, rhythmically intense, still classic, but a modern film score. And at the same time, it is very complex so that both artistically and intellectually, but on the other hand, from an entertainment point of view, it can communicate to me. Not trying to teach me something, but at the same time, teaching to my subconscious, not pushing how great an artist is onto my face, but at the same time, communicating to my soul. And I think that's a good work of art is something that's not aiming to show like a great artist, something who doesn't want to show off how great they are, but not condescending, but sharing. How do you say? I've had some teacher who are great artists, very humble, and teaching me so much by just looking at them. And I had one teacher that shall stay nameless when I was at USC, who was entering the class and telling us that he had met with all the executives that morning, that he was so great, that when he wrote the music, it was like they considered him amazing and unique, special, and he didn't share any of his knowledge with us. Brilliant composer, brilliant. His music is brilliant, but at the same time, when he taught, I don't want a piece of music to be condescending, but I want to be inclusive and making us understand and talking to your soul, like mine, in different ways, because we all perceive things differently, fortunately, because we are different souls. But at the same time, if we all go home with some feelings being enhanced by that, that's the purpose. And I think the score of The Mission can talk at each one of us differently, even separated from the movie.
Gorgeous. Thank you, Ryan.
Grazie, thank you. Nice meeting you.
So we are gonna get ready for lunch over here. So Fabrizio, thank you so much for
Italian food, I suppose, right? No.
Yes. Thank you. And by the way, The Mission's probably my #1 soundtrack too. So it's so funny that you say that. One of the most beautiful scores.
And it was, and Ennio loved this score for that. I can certify, because I was talking to him multiple occasions in past years, because unfortunately he died 2 years ago. And usually was very, very harsh on his music with himself, but that he was very happy with.
It's a perfect score. So thank you for saying that. Well, it was great meeting you, and thank you for at least in class. We're just gonna get ready for lunch here. So David,
No, and enjoy lunch. Buon appetito.
Everyone say bye, and thank you, Fabrizio.
See you all
Bye.
soon.
Thanks for being here.
Okay, and thank you, David.
Oh, thank you, Alex.
All right. Okay.
I know we have about 10 more minutes. So we'll I do have a question in the sense of, what is one of your dreams that you yet need to manifest?
Well, my biggest dream is, I hope it this all continues and I can support my family with my job.
Yeah.
and I don't have to change a job. I was always fortunate enough to be working just with music, even when I teach, but it's all about music, even my conferences, etc. So I just, my dream is that it continues. My dream to achieve, I was doing that before the pandemic and during pandemic, and then it got discontinued. But I was working for one of the Disney park music, and then the former CEO said we were too expensive, from what I understand. But you know, that it fell through. Not all projects go to the end, so I'm not gonna just like mention things. But like, I want to write music for a theme park, Disney possibly, and I want to, what else? Work on a Disney project, big project, like for Disney as a composer, write my music, because that's my dream. But if it doesn't happen, I'm already happy. I work on with a Andreas Deja was like one of my Disney idols, with Richard Sherman. So I did my Disney film in a way, even though it's not Disney studio. I mean, I really just hope it continues. That's the hope. Because I think I'm luckier than 99.99999% of the colleagues in having pursued my dream, having a beautiful family and daughter, you know, wife and daughter. I cannot, I mean, I'm the point. I need to be just grateful.
Mm.
And whatever comes more is a cherry on top. And I hope I can give back in life at some point, so that I can do what people, even my family, of course, but also another brilliant Disney legend, Alice Davis. She designed a costume for It's a Small World, and she was the widow of Mark Davis, one of Walt Disney's 9 old men. And she was, for me, an adopted American grandmother, you know, and she taught me to pay it forward, pay it forward. If life is generous with you, pay it forward.
Mm.
And that's one of the dreams. Do it so well that I can pay it forward.
I love it, and I love you. You're just you have a glow about you. You have a light that is so positive and loving, and I am so glad that I know you. So
I'm so glad to know you too. And I thank you for having me here. It was a pleasure. I know it was long in the making, but I wanted to be sure that this summer at some point we would be here, because like, so that's why like I was, you were on all the calendars in the house, and not virtual, so that nobody could get into our way today.
oh, thank you. Well, we are all blessed to have you here today. I mean, we could spend hours with you with all the questions people have, but we had a wonderful hour here. What we'd love to do here is just get a photo of all of us together. So I'm gonna remove the spotlights. I know
Recover my white hair. I'm getting older, but I'm glad I have white hair and not like my dad, you know, like having lost in his 20s, everything, you know.
oh, my dad did too. My dad did too. And let me tell you, I got gray hair and now I get more dates. So, you know.
I have it. But I still, you know, I'm joking. Those are all jokes.
I know.
Looks. The most important look is inside us. So
yes, yes. And you have a beautiful and wonderful family, by the way. Your wife.
grazie. I love them, and I'm very, that is the best. At the end of the day, if I know that my wife and my daughter, I'm not just saying, but if I know that are fine, I'm fine.
Yeah.
I don't, you know, people ask me, oh, do you want to get a big car? I don't care. I as long as the car brings me from A to B, or what is the best gift I can give to myself is that I can go visit my parents every once in a while, or things they can visit me. That's the thing. That's my hope.
I love it. Okay. Well, listen, everybody, on the count of three, what are we going to say, Fabrizio, on the count of three?
Evviva!
Okay. 1, 2, 3. Evviva!
Evviva!
Thank you so much.
Grazie.